Scrum aspects, change. Let's now talk about one of the most inevitable aspects of any project, change. Every project, whether traditional or agile, will experience some level of change. Changes in customer expectations, market demands, technology, or even internal resources. But what makes Scrum different is how it embraces change. Scrum processes are designed with flexibility in mind. Instead of resisting change, the Scrum framework encourages the team to welcome it, analyze it, and use it to improve the product and the process. It is critical that all Scrum team members understand that change is not something to be feared or avoided. It is an opportunity to add more value. However, to avoid chaos, Scrum ensures that changes are handled in a structured manner, mainly through proper backlog refinement, sprint planning, and change management practices. The goal is maximize the benefits from the change and minimize the negative impacts. So as an organization, our mindset should shift from how do we avoid change to how do we make the most of it. Let's go a step deeper into Scrum's perspective on change. One of the primary principles of Scrum is its acceptance that stakeholders will change their mind about what they want or need as the project progresses. This is often referred to as requirements churn. In traditional project management, changing requirements are seen as a risk, but in Scrum, they are considered a natural and expected part of the development process. Why? Because it's nearly impossible for stakeholders to know everything they want from the beginning. Market dynamics change, user feedback comes in, and new ideas emerge during development. That's why Scrum avoids locking down requirements too early. Instead, it supports incremental delivery, where we build small, get feedback, and adjust accordingly. So, rather than resisting changes in requirements, Scrum embraces them, understanding that this approach leads to better alignment with customer needs and better business value. This is a significant mindset shift, from controlling change to collaborating with change. Now let's understand how Scrum welcomes change actively during the project lifecycle. Scrum projects are designed with short, time-boxed iterations called sprints. Each sprint typically lasts between 1 to 4 weeks. At the end of every sprint, the Scrum team delivers a potentially shippable product increment and presents it to the customer or stakeholder during the sprint review. This iterative approach is extremely powerful because it allows customers to see progress early and frequently. More importantly, they are encouraged to give feedback on what has been delivered, which becomes input for the next sprint. So, if the customer realizes that some requirements need to be changed, or if business priorities shift, those changes can be made right away in the next sprint planning. This continuous feedback loop means Scrum projects are always aligned with what the customer really needs, even as those needs evolve. In short, change is not resisted in Scrum. It's built into the DNA of the framework. Now let's discuss how change is managed and approved in a Scrum environment. In Scrum, changes are welcomed, but they still need to be evaluated and approved through a structured process to ensure alignment with product goals. As shown in this diagram, change requests are first evaluated as unapproved change requests. Depending on the type and impact of the change, different authorities are involved in the approval process. Product owners approve most day-to-day changes related to the product backlog. Stakeholders and product owner together approve changes that exceed the authority or tolerance of the product owner alone. Senior management get involved when the changes are significant and could impact strategy, cost, or delivery. Once approved, these changes are incorporated into the prioritized product backlog. This can happen during epic creation, backlog grooming, or while reprioritizing user stories. This structured change management helps Scrum teams remain flexible, yet focused, allowing them to embrace change while maintaining clarity and control. This slide explains how approved changes are integrated into the prioritized product backlog. As we saw earlier, not all change requests are accepted. Once changes are reviewed and approved by the appropriate authority, product owner, stakeholders, or senior management, they are added to the product backlog. Here's the process. 1. We start with a list of unapproved changes. 2. After review, some of these changes are approved. 3. These approved changes are merged with the current product backlog, which already contains user stories. 4. This results in an updated prioritized product backlog, where both original user stories and approved changes are now organized based on priority. This process ensures that the Scrum team is always working on the most relevant and up-to-date tasks, maximizing value and adaptability. Scrum is designed to embrace change, but it also ensures that the team stays focused. This slide talks about how Scrum balances flexibility and stability in a project. Scrum offers flexibility because change requests can be submitted and approved at any time during the project lifecycle. This allows the team to respond to evolving customer needs or market conditions. However, Scrum also promotes stability by freezing the sprint backlog once a sprint begins. That means the work planned for the sprint does not change. The Scrum team is protected from distractions and scope changes. Changes are queued for future sprints, unless the change is critical enough to stop the sprint. This balance ensures continuous improvement and adaptation without compromising the team's focus and delivery. Scrum is designed to embrace change while keeping the development process focused and stable. This slide highlights how Scrum balances flexibility and stability. Scrum offers flexibility by allowing change requests at any stage of the project. These requests can be raised and approved as needed, helping the team adapt to evolving customer needs or changing market conditions. At the same time, Scrum maintains stability by freezing the sprint backlog once the sprint begins. Work items committed in the sprint do not change. The Scrum team is protected from outside disruptions. Any new changes are evaluated and planned for future sprints. However, in case of an urgent or critical change, Scrum allows for the termination of the current sprint. The team then meets to plan a new sprint, incorporating the necessary changes. This prevents delay in overall delivery while still accommodating essential updates. This approach ensures business agility without compromising on predictability and delivery timelines. This slide explains how Scrum manages mid-sprint changes when there is a need to respond to urgent updates. In Scrum, any change request arising from the external environment, whether from stakeholders or the team, is first evaluated by the product owner. The product owner decides whether the change is urgent or it can wait until a future sprint. If the change is urgent, the current sprint is cancelled, and a new sprint is planned and started with updated priorities. If the change is not urgent, no immediate action is taken, and the change is added to the product backlog for future consideration. This approach enables Scrum teams to stay focused while remaining agile enough to accommodate major disruptions when truly necessary. This slide illustrates how change requests are managed at different levels in Scrum: portfolio, program, and project. 1. Portfolio level. New initiatives or change requests are evaluated and prioritized into the portfolio prioritized product backlog. 2nd program level. Approved change requests from the portfolio are integrated into the program prioritized product backlog. 3rd project level. Further approved change requests flow into the project prioritized product backlog. From here, sprint planning takes place, and the selected items go into the sprint backlog. 4th execution phase. The team works in a sprint cycle, 1 to 6 weeks, and holds daily stand-ups to ensure continuous alignment and progress. At the end of the sprint, we get a potentially shippable product. This system ensures that change is managed systematically across all levels while maintaining transparency and flow of information. If you are using Scrum, is your product owner empowered to make business decisions? Yes. In Scrum, the product owner is expected to be empowered to make business decisions. They are responsible for maximizing the value of the product and managing the product backlog. They decide what gets built and in what order, based on stakeholder input and business priorities. Without this empowerment, the team may face delays and misaligned goals.